Right now, we want to bring you this live look at our nation's Capitol building. And among the news out of Washington, D.C., is the Federal Reserve deciding to keep interest rates the same, just above 4%.
The Federal Reserve Chair says those rates might come down later this year. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp joining us live. Rachel, there's been a lot of concerns with the markets and uncertainty with businesses and consumers. What are they expecting for the future?
Well, good evening, Mike and Eva. So far, the Federal Reserve says that there are some positive data when it comes to things like the labor market and that the unemployment rates are still relatively pretty low. But in today's press conference, they say uncertainty about the economic outlook has increased. Now, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says inflation has eased a bit, but it's still elevated. There are also warning that their key measure of inflation would now be closer to 3% than 2%. Now, today's meeting with the Reserve was significant following recent changes from President Trump and his administration's actions on possible trade wars, mass firings in the government, and deportations, all those that could potentially impact the market and the economy. And the president has insisted that tariffs will be good for Americans and the economy. But Powell adds consumers and businesses are mentioning tariffs as a driving factor for the inflation measures moving up. Now, Powell was asked how much of the higher inflation rate this year will be due to President Trump's tariffs. He responded saying it's going to be very difficult to have a precise assessment of how much inflation is coming from tariffs and other areas.
Some of it. The answer is clearly some of it. A good part of it is coming from tariffs, but we'll be working, and so will other forecasters, to try to find the best possible way to separate non-tariff inflation from tariff inflation.
And Mike and Eva, in today's press conference with Powell, he also addressed the big R word, that's recession. He was asked what about the risk about recession. He says there's always about a 1 in 4 chances of recession, but added that some private sector estimates of recession risks have moved up, but they still aren't too high. Mike and Eva, back to you.